Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon or evening or morning, depending on where you are today. We're so thrilled to have you all here today and talk a bit more about what's coming in October with regards to Not Myself Today and our new manager portal. So I might have met some of you. My name is Catherine Coons. I'm the National Associate Director of our Workplace Mental Health Programs at CMHA National. So I've been with Not Myself Today for a number of years and really excited to kind of share this next chapter for us. So like I said, we're really excited to kind of unveil our new manager programming. So you would have received an email from us that highlights some of those key features and elements of what you'll get access to in the coming weeks. But we thought it'd be a good chance to just walk you through some of what that actually looks like, answer some questions. I know you had a chance to ask some questions ahead of time, but we'll save some time at the end for you as well. So today you'll hear from our national trainer, Alexandra Petrosano, as well as our national e-learning program design lead, Matthew Kennedy. And a number of us are here on the call as well to answer any questions that you might have specifically regards to different parts of the program. So Matthew and Alex have been really working hard to kind of get this over the finish line for you all, and we're really proud of it and just really excited to kind of share with you today. So again, we encourage you to ask questions. So please use the chat to ask your questions, and then we'll reserve some time at the end to go through them as well. Great. So I'll pass it over to you, Alex.
Thanks so much, Catherine. And once again, thanks everyone for being here today. Over the next half hour, we're going to kind of go through a little bit of a rundown of the portal, some new features, some a kind of content overview. And then, as we said, we'll also be available to answer any questions that you may have. So feel free to, once again, pop those in the chat or utilize that Q&A box as well. And we'd be happy to field those questions at that time as well. So without further ado, we can just kind of jump right into our presentation here. So, our focus for the Not Myself Today program is, and really has kind of always been, to help create psychologically healthy and safe work environments by, improving mental health awareness, literacy, and capacity within our workplace organizations. And we aim to do this by leveraging our greatest asset in this new iteration of the program to kind of positively shifting organizational culture, which of course is, our leaders. So, why did we focus specifically on managers for this update? A question that some of you on the line may be having, and we're happy to kind of dive into that at this time here. Well, first and foremost, we know that managers are quite pivotal in shaping the work environment. They are who employees look to as the model for typical behavior in the workplace and are often the first point of contact for employees who are experiencing some of those challenges, whether that's stress or a whole number of situations or considerations. And as a result, managers do have a fairly significant impact on how employees feel in their workplace environments. And when they are supported with the skills that make them more psychologically safe as leaders, we do see, and research really shows that great benefit. This includes things like a 28% reduction in fewer days lost to illnesses, which of course not only benefits employees by maintaining their health, but also reduces those absenteeism costs. We also see a 20% reduction in the duration of mental health related claims, as well as a 27% reduction in the length of some of those claims. So what does this translate to? Well, it means that folks are returning to work faster, and it's costing organizations less in the process. And finally, we also see that by fostering a more supportive work environment, employees feel more valued, more motivated, which of course then also leads to higher levels of engagement and productivity. And they're also more likely to stay at or be drawn towards organizations that prioritize their well-being. And so, the really good news is that our new manager portal can help you realize lots of these benefits. And by the end of this learning opportunity, managers will feel confident in applying their knowledge of mental health into their daily work to better support both employee and individual well-being. So how are we going to kind of go about this? Well, we have divided out our content into several different course areas, focusing on a number of different topics. Keeping in mind, of course, that employees will maintain access to the current NMT portals, and leaders will then be provided to this additional learning management system. So the learning courses have been separated out into 5 different spaces. First, we see Mental Health 101. And as you would suggest from the title, the goal of this module is to provide managers with a general understanding of mental health in the workplace and why it's so important. Our next course is on stress management and resilience building. And the course of this area, or the goal of this area, is to provide managers with the knowledge required to support themselves during times of stress through some resilience building strategies. Of course, it's equally as important for managers to maintain their own well-being as it is to maintaining the well-being of their staff. Our next course area is on managing workloads and burnout. The goal of this course is to teach managers how to effectively manage workloads and minimize burnout for their teams. Our next course is on supporting employee mental health. The goal here is to teach managers how to effectively, but also safely support an employee who is experiencing mental health concerns. And our last course is on strategies or ways to foster positive work culture. And the goal here is very much kind of a summary of what we're going to talk about in lots of other different areas, and really focuses on the impact of workplace culture on employee mental health, and to teach managers the role that they play in fostering more positive work cultures. In terms of course length, there is a kind of variation, but most courses will take between 30 minutes to an hour of focused time to complete, which comes out to about 4 hours of total learning across all of these courses. Each course is also then further divided into modules that focus on a variety of topics based, of course, on their theme. Within each module itself, there's a whole kind of combination of media, which includes a variety that you'll see. Things like, click to reveal interactions, animations, expert videos, knowledge checks, interactive scenarios, and lots more supporting content as well. And the platform includes a really robust kind of tracking system within it that also allows users to monitor their progress through some of these courses. Keeping in mind as well that the courses themselves are absolutely self-paced. So if you must leave, partway through a course, you'll certainly have the option to continue from where you left off the next time that you log on. If you're looking for some information on how to get started and enrolled and get going, you will receive a welcome email in October that contains all of the information that you're going to need to get your manager signed up, which will, of course, include the login URL and the unique login code for your specific organization. And when the manager themselves are ready to log on to this process, or to this system, they will follow the following process. To create an initial account, you're going to click the URL that is provided to you and enter the unique login code to create things like your username, your password, and your preferred language. Once the manager clicks this URL, it'll take them to the self-sign-up page of the LMS system, which will look like the photo that you see there on the left of the screen. Once you fill in the necessary information in those kind of respective spaces, you will click the green register button that you see as well. The learners will then receive an email with the subject Canadian Mental Health Association login information. Within this email, you'll receive that one-time use URL to complete the registration process. Once the manager clicks that URL, it will bring them to the page to set the password and complete the registration process, including, first and last name and password creation. Once the learner fills up the information that you see there on the screen, you'll then click the continue button. This will then bring them to the login page, which will look like the photo on the right. So once they've done that sort of background information, you'll finally arrive to the screen there that you see on the right to log into the platform. If you, of course, have any questions regarding any of that process, it will be summarized in that communication email that is sent to you in October. But if for whatever reason you have any challenges, of course, please do reach out to the team and we will make sure that we can kind of navigate alongside you in getting you involved. But once you've gone through all of these steps and arrive onto the platform, you will be met with a screen that looks a lot like what you see here on the screen now. And I'm going to call upon my colleague, Matt, to review some of the highlights of the platform once you're logged in.
Thank you, Alex. So what you're looking at here are the two main sections of the manager's portal. So on the left side, you'll see the home screen, and on the right side, you'll see what we call the learning library. So I'll just go through the different elements of each, and at times I'll jump back and forth between the two. So when you first log on, you'll be greeted with a welcome message. We urge you to watch that video. Once you watch that and close it, you'll be greeted with our homepage. So as you can see on the left there, those little tiles are each of the different courses in our curriculum. So as Alex mentioned, there are 5 of them, and they show up in the My Training widget. So as you work through each of these courses, they will be moved from the Not Started tab to the In Progress tab, and then to the Completed tab when you finish them. So it's going to track all of this for you. You don't even have to think about it. And as Alex mentioned, you can revisit these courses at any time, and it will remember where you left off and bring you right back to that position. If that's what you would like to do. If you've completed the course, it will allow you to go back in, obviously, and review any sections that you'd like to. We want to take advantage of those benefits of e-learning, which is 24/7 access. So if you're, walking into a situation with one of your staff the next day and you want to refresh on certain topics before you have that conversation, say, with one of your staff, you can jump back in, go right to that section, review a scenario, and then go into the scenario in real life the next day. Underneath that, or actually to the right of that, you'll see that little trophy icon. So this is showcasing your achievements. So as you complete courses, they're called achievements, and you can toggle through those, see which courses you've completed in the environment. On the bottom left of the home screen, you'll see something called favorites, which I will touch on in 1 second. To the right of that, there's a recently viewed tab. So any courses or documents that you've recently visited will appear there. So again, quick access, convenience. And to the right of that, we have mental health tips, which you'll be familiar with from the original portal. We'll have running mental health tips there for you as well. So on the right side, we have our learning library. So this is essentially a resource library of PDFs, videos, toolkit items, PowerPoints, all the supporting documents and resources that go hand in hand with our curriculum to support you in your everyday work. The great thing about this resource library is that it is searchable and you can filter through it as well. So no more endless searching for resources. You could just, for instance, if one of our meditation videos resonated with you, you could just jump on here, type in meditation, and they would be all you would see. It would filter them out for you. One of the cool things about the resource library as well, I don't know if you can see it on this screenshot, it might be a little bit too small, but on the right side of each of the resources, there's a little heart. So you can click any of those, and when you do, they will show up on the home screen underneath that favorites widget that I was alluded to earlier. So again, quick access. If there are certain documents, videos, anything that really resonated with you, click that, it'll show up on your landing page. So that's, right on hand every time you log in. So I think that's all for me. Back to you, Al.
Thank you so much. So before we kind of finally shift to the remainder of our session focus, which is going to be on answering any of the questions that I'm sure that you may have on the line here, we just wanted to quickly remind you of how we can kind of further support you on this journey through shifting the culture of your workplace in general. So, in addition to our Not Myself Today portal, we also have a variety of other training offerings for you today. Our first being our live sessions, specifically for your organization, where we can focus on a wide variety of training session topics, delivery styles, and lengths that can all be customized and delivered to you. And these are really fantastic opportunities to have either as, standalone sessions, as part of a series of learning opportunities, administered alongside the courses that you're creating or completing, or maybe even embedded into existing team meeting agendas, or as part of, timely annual events. A little bit of a reminder of kind of what's coming. Healthy Workplace Month is coming up in October, for example. So this could be a great time to invite us in to chat with your team. Alongside this, we also have several publicly available sessions that focus on creating psychologically safe workplaces in alignment with the National Standard of Canada. We've got two streams here, the first being more of an introduction to the topic in the form of a single 3-hour session, or our much more robust certificate, which consists of 4 half days with a combination of, seminar style teachings, mini group activities, as well as a major case study assignment to confirm your learning. At the end of that second stream, you'll also achieve a certificate, which notes your completion of the course and your professional development achievement. So if you are interested in learning about more of these training opportunities, please do feel free to reach out to workplace@cmha.ca for more information and to inquire about our very exclusive NMT discount as well. So we'd love to hear from you there. But on the sort of vein of hearing from you, we would like to, at this time, and for the remainder of our time here on the line together, open the floor for any questions that any of you on the line might have. And I see a couple coming through here already. So I think depending on who's most in tuned to answer these, I might call upon you, but the remainder of the people on the line who are still kind of getting them in here, just a reminder to open up that Q&A box and we'll be happy to answer from there. So, Shiraz, sorry to put you on the hot seat here right away, but I've got quite a few questions focusing on the kind of administrative process. So I'll just quickly hand a couple over to you. So we've got our first question here. For existing members, do they have to sign up again?
Thanks, Alex, and that's a very important question. So the short answer is yes, and the reason is it is a totally separate platform compared to what the Not Myself Today subscribers currently have access to. So that will still be there, but this new managers portal is in addition to that. And we will communicate the details of how to kind of access that in a separate email, as Alex mentioned in October. And I kind of see a few questions that are kind of directly relates to those as well. So the second question that I see, and sorry, Alex, I'm just going through those because they're pretty contextual to the registration, as you mentioned. So the second question was, let me see. So does the manager account counting the total number of accounts one pays for in their membership fee? Is there any additional fee for these courses? So we have worked really, really hard to ensure that we can include certain number of manager licenses for free, which is already included in your participation fee. So you really won't have to pay for those. And the number of how many licenses are being allocated to your account is also going to be communicated to you in that October communication. Another question is, just to confirm, who will the email in October be sent out to managers that have already created an account in NMT, or just administrators to cascade out to managers? Very important question. And it will be short answer is the communication will be sent out to the administrators, the point of contact we have for Not Myself Today. So all of you. And we have intentionally made the registration process very similar to the registration process that we have in our current NMT environment. So you will receive a code for the managers portal as well, with a independent URL, as Alex mentioned earlier in the session. And then you will know by then, like, how many manager licenses you will have, that you can kind of figure out, like, within whom of all your managers you're going to offer that to. So you are going to send out that unique code to your managers to kind of self-register. So that's the answer for that. I'll take another question here from Megan. Is that from ISC, who's asking that is SCOM file is available, so that can be loaded into any internal LMS. Unfortunately, we cannot offer that at this point. So yeah, it will be a separate access to an LMS environment as that we will be providing, that the managers will have to access.
That said, if that is something, we haven't, we're just working on getting this live to our current employees. Full transparency, we haven't fully figured out if that is something in the future we can offer. If you are interested in that, if that's something that you're interested, let us know so we can keep track of who you are as an organization. That if you do have your own internal LMS and that's something that you would like to explore, if you could send us an email, either to Rucha, Ryan, Monique, myself, anybody. The Not Myself Today account would be fine as well, just so we can keep track of that, and then we can kind of keep you posted as we start to figure out what are the potential options for how we can integrate this with your other systems as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I see we've got a couple of other questions here. I see a couple of questions about tracking, so maybe I'll pass this one over to Matt. I've got a question here. Will organizations have the ability to track or monitor progress and participation from our leaders? If yes, what does that look like?
So individual learners will be able to track their own progress. As we mentioned, the tracking system is fairly robust, in that if you get halfway through a course and you have to leave and you revisit, a week later, it's going to ask you if you want to continue from where you left off. And if you say yes, it'll bring you right back to that point. And it tracks, obviously, completions on an individual level. As far as reporting goes, organizations won't be able to run their own reports. And this is for privacy reasons. We want people to be able to use the environment as they see fit, without sort of worrying that someone knows what areas of mental health they're most interested in. We thought that was quite important. But CMHA will be able to run reports on an organization's behalf. So these would be anonymous reports. Again, not John Smith has, reviewed this topic 8 times, but it would be the managers in your organization. 70% of them have completed the curriculum, something like that. So that was a bit of a long-winded answer. I hope it answered your question.
Thanks, Matt. Let's see. I'm seeing a couple questions about the training opportunities that I mentioned just before shifting to the Q&A, and whether or not these are included in the current iteration of the portal or the future version of the portal. So these will come at an additional cost. This is our kind of secondary stream of training offerings. That said, I did briefly mention that as an NMT subscriber, you are eligible for a discounted price. So if you would like to learn more about that, depending on the session length, the price would vary. So please do feel free to reach out to workplace@cmha.ca, and we can have a bit of a chat about what that exactly looks like for your organization. I'm seeing another quick question about whether or not you'll have access to this slide deck. So we're actually recording this session right now. Once we've completed the session, of course, we'll work to post it on our existing portal. And then we will send out a communication to you noting that that has been posted. And then we do absolutely urge you to share this presentation with anybody who's wondering about what the portal will look like and kind of what's to come in the future. And we do urge you to share that to kind of get folks excited for this new iteration of the portal. And I think that kind of blends well into another question that we've got about whether or not this version of the portal is going to differ from what is our current existing manager portal. And the answer is absolutely. In almost all aspects, it's quite different. I welcome anybody on the line to really kind of jump in here to talk about exactly why that's different. But I will say, even just from a basic kind of content perspective, we've done a total overhaul on the system, and we're really looking forward to sharing more information with you about what that specifically looks like. But I'd love to pass it over to anybody else who'd like to. I think
we've spent the past couple of years, 3 or 4 years now, really evaluating the needs of our clients and looking at the current landscape of what workplace mental health looks like and what organizations are looking for. I speak to over 4 to 5 different organizations every single week, and now they're looking for support for their managers. Their managers feel like they don't know what to say or what not to say. Sometimes they're scared they're going to say the wrong thing, so they say nothing at all. And so this is a really big need for many organizations. And what we have on the current portal is an introduction to that. This is much more in depth. This is a full kind of holistic approach to making sure your managers have all those tools to support that employee, support themselves, and feel more confident to have those conversations. Because you'll get a certain amount of licenses for your managers. That might not be your full amount of people that you would like to train in your whole organization. So we are still keeping everything as is on the current portal. People will be able to access it in the same way. This is just in addition to. There was another question around if you once we issue the amount of licenses to you and you decide you want more than that, what's the process, what's the cost? It'll be part of your whole kind of package conversation. So reach back out to us. If you would like more licenses after we issue the certain amount, let us know and we can have that conversation and issue more, no problem, and talk about the kind of individual costs as that comes.
Absolutely. And I might just toss another quick question over to you, Catherine, since you're on the line already. I'm seeing quite a few questions about people wanting to know a bit more information about when in October this will be made available.
Yep, the first week of October. So you'll get an email from us the first week of October 1st, I think is the Tuesday. So you'll get an email from us with all of the codes that you'll need to do. There was another question around how, will the administrators get access first? So yes, you will be in control of when you roll this out within your organization. As the administrator, we will give you the license code, and then it'll be up to you to distribute that to the managers when you want to. If it's not in October, you want to wait till the new year. If you want to trial it with a small group before you issue out the whole amount of licenses, if you want to take a look beforehand, see how it fits, see if you want to build it into your onboarding process, if you want to build it into something you require your managers to complete a course each term or each quarter, things like that, you'll have that flexibility and that control. The information will go directly to you as the administrator, and then we will provide next steps for how you then issue it to your managers and who you'd like to select for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on that note of flexibility, we also see a couple of questions here about people asking kind of how to navigate the system, and really that is completely up to you. As long as you have access to the system as per your previous kind of subscription-based cadence, you will have access to this material. So there really is no time limit on how long you have access. As long as you have access to the portal, you have access to the courses, and the sort of frequency at which you sort of pick away or urge managers rather to pick away at it is completely up to yours and their discretion, their workload. So it is very much this sort of self-paced style that we found has worked best, I think, even just from an adult learning kind of perspective, and really maximizing the value of a similar sort of portal.
There's a couple of questions specifically around how many licenses you might get as an organization. It's a Shiraz, maybe I'll pass it over to you. If you have specific questions and you'd like to know your specific answer, definitely reach out to us. But maybe Shiraz, if you provide a bit context about how we came to that number.
Sure. And I think um, that the number is going to be depending on the participation fee that the organization are kind of giving right now. And because some of we've been with us for a long time, that might be different from what we are currently offering to newer clients because of to cover the cost of the new LMS that we are offering. So we will be kind of communicating that directly to you. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our account manager, Monique, who's in touch with you normally about specifically of your organization, and we'll be able to communicate that. But yeah, as I've mentioned earlier, that whatever your participation fee is, we really, really worked hard to make sure that we include manager licenses with your participation fee so that you can access the feature and the service we are offering. And that's how we have kind of proceeded from there.
Yeah. And again, if you have any specific questions about how that works for your organization, once again, please do reach out to us and we'd be happy to provide as much information as we can about that. And we've just got one more question here, which I think if time kind of allows for just one more here, that I think is a really good kind of send off question anyways for sort of what we have been sort of focusing on for this last half hour here. And the question is whether or not there's been research that has been done to support the training of managers in this area and their ability to navigate this with their reports to really kind of shift and advance that culture. And so, when we shared some of those statistics with you earlier, this was ultimately a summary of research that we explored prior to really digging into our content development and essentially guided all of the work that we did moving forward. I think we also just sort of know this to be true from personal and, subject matter experience, that there is that really significant impact on shifting the culture when leaders are on board to the concept and when they're equipped with the skills to do it. And I think also in terms of our new platform specifically, we actually completed a pilot process with medium and large organizations, and the feedback that we received from them was overwhelmingly positive from both a content usability and learner perspective. So we're really proud of that, and we're really sort of looking forward to sharing it with you as well, and hopefully receiving some similar positive feedback. So I think we've got or we're at our sort of max time here. But again, if anybody has any further questions, please reach out to us. Anything that wasn't addressed, and we'd be happy to hear from you. But I'll just turn it over to my colleagues here if anybody wants to close us out here. But thank you so much for being here.
I'll just add one more point to the research side of things. So our internal subject matter experts who are on this call, there was a lot of research done into the content, and you will see that as you work through the courses through references. You'll have little footnotes that you can click. It'll pop up the reference, where that research was from, what paper, what study. You'll be able to then visit there if you so choose, if you're that keen. So yeah, this content was heavily embedded in research.
Sure. Thanks everybody for joining. There's a couple more questions. We will have this recorded. It's been recorded, and we'll put it live on the portal. We'll send around the slide deck that you have all the tools and all the information that you need. And we will populate an FAQ sheet as well with some of the questions that were talked about today, just so you can have those on hand and kind of easily reference that as well. I know we've taken a couple more minutes, so thank you everybody for staying with us. We're really, really excited. To get you all in there. And again, if you have any more questions, feel free to send us an email. And we look forward to sharing this with you in a couple of weeks.